Hey guys, so to start off this look, not as always, but as you've seen me do in some of my tutorials, I am going to be just lining the edge of her outer lash line with some masking tape, just because this look is going to contain a lot of color and I just want things to keep a little bit on the cleaner side, and I like masking tape because it's not super sticky, so it's not uncomfortable, but also it is just larger so it catches more fallout. So I am just going to be outlining and cleaning up the base of her brow with the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light, and I'm using this with a MAC 252 brush. I love this brush to prime the eye and also to carve out the bottom of the brow, and I'm taking this from the inner corner all the way to the outer edges, meeting that tape, and I'm tapping and tapping and tapping because more tapping means more air is getting into the product, which means the product is drying down faster, which means it is ready for eyeshadow. So I'm going straight in with some eyeshadow. I am going to be using the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and I am dipping into the deep matte red that they have in the palette, and I am taking this on a Morphe blending brush, and I am using very small tight circles because I'm going from the inner corner to the outer corner. I'm then going to be taking the orange shade from that palette, and I'm going to just begin to start to blow this up, and I mean, you know, smoke it out. And really the key to this is to not be afraid to go too smoky. As long as you are controlled within your blending and you are controlled within your the type of brushes you're using, the more you smoke it out, the better these types of looks go. It's all about the blend. It's about the blend. So if your coverage is starting to spread out further and further, but your blend is good, don't worry about it. It's gonna look just that much more intense and that much more dramatic. And if that's not what you're going for, then that's just what you need to work on, is keeping it controlled within a confined area. So next I'm gonna be taking one of the ColourPop Supernova liquid eyeshadows, and I'm applying this all over her lid. And I have to say, I wish these shadows were a little bit more, I think the word is blendable, because even though I'm applying this all over the bottom, I'm now taking a brush to kind of just help smooth out those edges, which helped a little bit, but they do dry down pretty fast, so you need to be careful. I'm then going to be taking a NYX glitter, and this is a red glitter, and I'm using my finger to pat this down into the eye because I just found that my finger was the best tool for application. You can go in and use a glitter glue if you would like to. I decided not to because the ColourPop shadow was already liquid and it was going to dry down, so I found that it held the glitter okay. Then for the skin, I am taking the Becca Illuminating Primer first, or Illuminating Skin Perfector Primer, and I'm applying this all over her clean skin, and I'm using a flat foundation brush for this just because I want to utilize all of the product, and I feel like this helps spread everything out evenly to know that I am not over applying or under applying in certain areas. I'm then going to be using the same foundation brush to apply the foundation all over her face, and again, this is just to spread it out evenly. I am then going to be taking a beauty blender to blend everything out. Actually, I shouldn't say beauty blender, I'm taking a beauty sponge, and it was the Real Technique sponge. Once I am done blending that, I'm then going to be taking a Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. This is such a huge contrast, but if you can tell, my client here, she is not deep in skin tone, but she is not a very pinkish tone girl, so she does have a little bit of color. So that is what I'm trying to do with the foundation and concealer, is more of a balancing act. As you can tell, the foundation is a lot more yellow than her neck, but the concealer is a lot more fairer. So these two combined, if you now look from her chin down to her neck, it is a solid match from the tone of her neck to her face without making her look ashy, and then also without making her look too yellow. So I am going to be blending this out again with the Real Technique sponge, and then with the contour, I did use the LA Girl Beautiful Bronze Pro Concealer just to kind of define her cheekbones and forehead more. Her forehead is not a very broad forehead, it's rather on the short side, so I was just careful to really keep it tight and near her hairline, not to drag it down too far, in order to prevent us from getting a smaller looking forehead. But I did want a little bit of bronzing and definition going there. In order to blend out the contour, I'm using a Luxie Small Dome Fluffy brush, and I love this brush to blend out the cream contour because it is very soft, and I like that small so I can control where the contour is going. I'm trying to be cautious and going in upward circular motions Once that is blended out, I'm going to be taking my Rcma No Color Powder, again with a Real Technique sponge, picking it up with that sponge and pressing it into the areas that we highlighted. I'm not going to be baking for this look. I just simply want to set her foundation, and I feel like setting with this technique gives the most natural appearance. As you can tell, she's looking really good. And then for bronzer, I'm taking a large powder brush, and to be honest, I don't remember which bronzer I used this day, but if I had to bet money on it, I would say that I did use my Benefit Hula bronzer. Of course, you could use your bronzer of choice, or if you're working on a client, just make sure it meets their skin type and skin tone needs. And then for highlight, I am using the Kylie Jenner Wet Set, and this is a really interesting highlighting palette because if you own it or if you've seen it, it's not a powdery type of product. It's definitely more of like a wet product, as in the name. And what I like about it is that even though it gives a nice highlight, you can kind of just tell, like right here on her nose especially, the sheen is almost so natural. Like now this just looks like she has a dewy foundation on. So I personally really like that because I thought it looked very natural, very soft, and I thought it made her skin look so smooth like butter. So here's a good example too. Usually with my highlighting, you can just like boom right away see like the blindingness and the intensity of it. And here, even though we are piling it on, it's not reflecting back a lot of light, but it's just providing a lot of sheen to her skin. For the blush, I'm using an angle blush just to apply this light pink matte blush. Same here, I don't remember which one I used, but any blush will work. And just be careful not to overdo it since the eyes are very red. We don't want red on the eyes, red on the cheeks, and you know, it gets a little crazy. So to finish off the eyes, I'm going back in with a deep brown from that Desert Dusk palette and a pencil brush and beginning to rub this right along the root of her bottom lashes to begin to smoke out the lower lash line. And then working in reverse order, I'm going to be taking those shadows that I used on the top lid and just begin to smoke out the lower lash line. I'm really trying my best here to connect it to the upper lid. This is a technique that I have been working on, and this was filmed during the time where I was kind of trying it out, and I feel like I'm getting better at it, especially with this, you know, really blown out type of smoky eye, but you know, there's always room for improvement. And then I'm taking an inner corner highlight. I wanted it more of like a gold tone because I just felt like the gold and the red just really complemented, and it just made the eye look pop a little bit more. It made it look honestly a little bit more festive. Here, doesn't her skin look so smooth? Seriously, like that highlighting palette just makes the skin look buttery. I don't know, I love it. So I'm then going to be lining her lips with a light pink lip liner just to give a little bit of definition, since we are going to be going in with a pretty light colored gloss. And yes, gloss. We're not doing a matte lip for this one. And with that being said, I wanted to create that ombre look, so that is why I went in with a little bit of a deeper color of lip liner. And here I am using a very nudie peachy pink lip gloss in order to kind of help highlight the center of her lips to create that beautiful ombre effect. And I'm just kind of taking my time. A lot of people ask me about my lip lining techniques because my clients' lips always look very clean, and to be honest with you, it is a struggle. It's something that you have to get used to, but with the right brush and the right amount of pressure, I believe it's doable and easy. So I'm just going to be setting with some setting spray. Her lashes were applied, as you saw, and this is the completed look. I absolutely freaking love this look. It is one of my favorites that I did on her, and I'm so thrilled that it came out what I was envisioning in my head. But I hope you guys like this look. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next one.